Hi, I'm Summer Massey with Arvest Bank. In our last episode, we talked about why businesses fail, and a lot of the pitfalls can be avoided through proper planning. So today we're going to discuss planning with Chrystal with...
I'm with the Small Business and Technology Development Center at Missouri State University.
So let's make a case for planning. Why plan in the first place?
So the process of planning will provide you with a roadmap to success in the business world. So
Yes.
At the Small Business and Technology Development Center, we tell our clients you need a business plan if you're going to start a business or buy a new business,
Right.
if you're going to get a loan or refinance, and also if you're trying to raise debt or equity capital. And that process of planning is going to walk you through all of the aspects of your business idea and then help you understand, are there flaws in that overall business idea that maybe you need to adjust a little bit so that when you actually start that business, you can be more successful.
So one of the components of planning is doing a feasibility study. So help us understand what a feasibility study is and why it's important.
So when we talk about feasibility study, what we're really trying to understand is, what does the market look like? We're trying to do a market assessment. So what are our customers? This product or service that we're trying to offer, who are the customers that need or want that product or service? What do they look like? How many are there out there? What competitors are out there that are already offering this similar or same product or service? And are there any barriers to entry that might impede others from coming into that market as well? And so just trying to understand, is there enough people out there? Is there enough market share out there for me as a business owner to be able to sell enough to cover my expenses and be profitable and be successful as a business owner?
So another part of the planning process is looking at a business overview. Walk us through what that stage is like.
Sure. So the business overview really entails a lot of things. It's helping you understand how will your business be organized and what does that mean for you as the business owner. So is it going to be an LLC? Is it going to be a sole proprietorship? What are the advantages and disadvantages of those different organizational structures? You also want to be very clear about who's going to be involved in the business. Is it a sole owner? Are there partners involved? If there are partners involved, how are they going to be involved? And what are their jobs going to be? Especially if you're getting a loan and you're trying to visit with a lender, it's really important that as the business owner, you're selling your expertise and your knowledge of the industry and your experience. And so that needs to be in the overview as well. But also just, what is your business going to do? What is it going to offer? What are those products? What are those services? How are you going to offer them? And what is your mission going to be? What is your business going to stand for? And what are your goals going to be? And kind of setting those out in the beginning so that the rest of your business plan supports that mission and those goals that you set out in your business overview.
Right, I agree with that. And in a moment, we're going to talk about marketing and operations, and I know a lot of folks jump into that when they're doing their business planning. But walk us through an example, or give us an example of someone that your team has worked with, that they've avoided some pitfalls by doing feasibility study and looking at the business overview.
Sure. So when I first started with this Small Business and Technology Development Center down in Taney County, I had this young lady who came in, and she was a wonderful baker. And she made beautiful cakes and cupcakes, and that was kind of the thing, starting to really come about. Was all these cupcake shops, and so she wanted to open up a cupcake shop. And so we started looking at the market in the Taney County, Branson area, and when you assess how many people live there, what is their income on the people that actually live there, the residents that are there, and then you also can factor in the tourists, but you have to think about the fact that it's seasonal, and so we're not going to have that number of potential customers all year round. And so when we really dug down and said, okay, how big is this actual market, and how many people would potentially stop in and buy these cupcakes or cakes, and by the way, how many people are already doing it? So we've got grocery stores that are actually doing a great job of providing these baked goods, and they're providing them to different theaters and different outlets. And so, getting into that market could be somewhat difficult. And so, as we walked through the feasibility, that kind of halted a little bit.
Right.
And then I'll bring that up again as we talk about the financial piece, because it was really interesting how that kind of also helped, answer the question, is it really feasible or
Yeah,
not?
that's great. Okay, so let's transition into operations and marketing. Tell us a little bit about those planning stages.
So the operations plan, again, another important part of your overall business, looking at where will your business be located. Will you have a brick and mortar location? Are you going to sell online? Or are you going to start the business out of your house? So that's the one part of the overall operations. How are you going to run this business? What kind of staff needs do you have? Will you need managers in place? What's that workforce look like? Do they need to be skilled workers? All of those things are important. What vendors might you use? What suppliers are you going to use in your business to be able to offer this optimal product or service? And how will you overall operate and get your goods and services to your customers? That's all part of this operational plan.
And then marketing, how do you help folks with the marketing part of the planning process?
So the marketing part of the plan, we find that people really, when they look at marketing, they're thinking just how am I going to advertise to my customers?
Right.
And the marketing section is much bigger than that. So it's looking at what is your overall strategy. So we go back to our market assessment and we take another look at our customers. And so again, who are they? Where do they go for information? What do they value? And being able to craft that value proposition to our customers. So what value is our product or service bringing to these customers? What problem is it solving, and crafting that message? And then once you understand your customers, we can then decide, okay, how are we going to advertise to those different customer segments or target customers that we have, because every outlet doesn't make sense for every type of customer. So, and then we will look at competition again. So we go back to our market assessment and say, okay, we have this competition. What is our niche going to be? How are we going to stand out in the market? And, what does that message look like? So that's also part of the overall marketing strategy. And then pricing actually falls underneath this marketing section too. What will the market bear? What are our customers willing to pay for the product or service? And is that feasible for us as, what other things are going into our overall business? And then again, how are we going to get that product out into the hands of our customers? So we have to think about all of that in the marketing section.
Finally, financial planning is part of the process. But again, toward the end of the process, can you walk us through what you work with customers on what they need to assess to do their financial planning?
Sure. So the financial plan we save to the end because all of the research you've done up until now helps you understand what your sales and expenses look like. So that's where we start. We look at our market assessment and our marketing section, and we develop those realistic sales forecasts. And then we look at the other parts of our plan, like operations and marketing, to help us understand what do our expenses look like. And so that's giving us our revenue, expenses, and our potential net profit. But then we also take it a step further and we assess cash flow and the timing of cash coming in and out of our business. And so we walk our clients through, are you going to extend terms to your clients, to your customers? So does that mean you're not going to get paid until 30 days? And then are your suppliers going to give terms to you? So will you not have to pay things for 30 days? And so we really talk about what does cash flow look like in and out of your business and helping them understand why that's important. And then we also look at sources and uses of funding. So looking at the overall project and understanding that the lender isn't going to lend you 100% of that project.
Thank you.
And so, where's that other money coming from? What do you have as the business owner, entrepreneur to put into the business? And where's that other money coming from? And so looking at all of the parts of the business finance, section is really important. And kind of going back to my little cupcake story, what we did with that client was, when we really started nailing down the finances, she wanted a brick and mortar location. And so her overhead was going to be very high. Her expenses were going to start out very high. And she really, per product unit, her price was very low. And so we started doing the math as to, okay, back into this number, how many, cupcakes are you going to have to sell per week, per day that you're open to really make this business plan work? And in the end, really what she decided is kind of an aha moment for her. She was going to have to sell a whole lot of cupcakes, to be able to be open. And looking at the customer base in that market, it wasn't feasible all year round, and maybe not at all,
Right.
Especially because of the other competition that was there. So, putting all those pieces together and walking through the whole planning process can be really important so that you're not making a mistake, but you can back up and you can make adjustments. So, she could start out of her home.
Right.
And that might be a way that her business is more feasible at this point.
Those are some really great tools that you give the folks who come into the center. What other resources do you have for folks who visit the center, and where can they find you?
Sure. So we're located at the E-Factory with Missouri State University. But the great thing about the Small Business and Technology Development Center is we're a statewide network. And so if you're located in Joplin, we have a center there. Or if you're located here and we may not have the answer, we can reach out to our counterparts across the state and help you find the expertise that you need. And we can walk clients through this whole planning process and give them things like market assessment reports. We can map out customers. We can map out, competitors for them. We can give them customer demographics, financial standards for overall industries. So really providing them with the tools that they need to be able to go through this whole planning process and come out with a plan that will help them be successful when they start their business.
Your team is a great resource and a great partner for businesses in our community. And guess what? Next time we'll be discussing more about partners and business relationships. So join us then. Thank you, Chrystal.
Thank you.